Hi, in this video, you will see some very interesting stories. Watch the video to the end. I'm sure you will like it. I am a digital inheritance auditor. I just found my father's kill switch, and it's going to bankrupt the family that spent 10 years ignoring me while I took care of him. I have a job that sounds like it was invented by a science fiction writer. I am a digital inheritance auditor. When a high net worth individual dies, I am the one hired by the banks or the estate to find the missing digital assets, Bitcoin, dormant offshore accounts, or encrypted intellectual property. Most of the time, I find nothing but unlinked Amazon accounts and embarrassing browser histories. But last month, my own father died, and for the first time in my career, the audit was personal. My father was the golden boy of our city. He founded a waste management empire that he sold for hundreds of millions in the late 90s. My siblings Tyler, the aura farming influencer, and Sarah, the philanthropist socialite, spent the last decade flying to Dubai and the Maldives on his dime. I was the invisible caretaker. I was the one who moved into his drafty estate to change his bandages, manage his medications, and endure his dementia-induced rants while they only showed up for the Instagram photos at Christmas. When he passed, Sarah and Tyler didn't even wait for the funeral. They showed up with a moving truck, ready to kick me out of the house it lived in for 10 years. They assumed the house and the remaining trust funds were theirs to split. They called me unambitious and a leech because I hadn't built a personal brand like they had. But they didn't know about the kill switch. During my audit of my father's private server, a machine it'd been maintaining for years, I found an encrypted file titled The Cost of Silence 1994. I realized my father hadn't sold his company in the 90s, he had been paid to disappear it. The buyers weren't a legitimate corporation, they were a shell company for a chemical conglomerate that needed a place to bury their liability. My father's wealth was built on a series of illegal toxic land transfers that now house 3 suburban developments. The kill switch was a smart contract had set up years ago. If his digital signature wasn't renewed every 90 days, a packet of evidence would be sent to the Environmental Protection Agency and the State Attorney General. He'd used the threat of self-destruction to keep the conglomerate paying him consulting fees for 30 years. Because I was the only one who cared for him, I was the only one who knew how to renew the signature. When he died, the 90-day clock started. Tyler and Sarah are currently suing me for theft of digital assets, claiming I've hidden his Bitcoin. They don't realize that if I find what they're looking for, it triggers the kill switch. The legal fees and environmental remediation costs would not only wipe out the inheritance but would likely lead to clawback lawsuits against any money they've already spent. Reddit, I'm sitting in the kitchen of the estate while Tyler's lawyers are outside in the driveway with a court order to seize his devices. They think they're about to be rich. I'm looking at the submit button on the EPA tip line. If I let them win the lawsuit and take the server, the conglomerate will find out the evidence is out of their control, and they'll stop the payments immediately, triggering the bankruptcy Sarah and Tyler deserve. Am I the asshole for letting my siblings win a lawsuit that will leave them with $10 million in debt and a felony fraud charge? Never look up your old high school admirers. This is a little dramatic, but I've wanted to share this story for forever and never considered Reddit to be a place to do so, but here we go. So, years ago in high school 2012, there was this guy, we'll call him Nathan, 16 2 grades younger than me, 18 and B, that hung out around me and my few friends pretty consistently in my last year. I went to a tiny public charter with 200 kids 7th through 12th, so this wasn't unusual. I felt bad at the time that I didn't really like him, but it was a pretty one-sided friendship as he just kind of appeared one day. I was polite with him, but had no interest in talking or hanging out outside of school. He had a habit of confessing his love to girls he associated with, escalating the approach each time. He confessed to both of my stepsisters first. The younger one, 14, he just asked out, and she said no. The second one, 18, he wrote a poem and read out to her during lunch, and she said no. Now, I am very suspicious that I am ADHD. I'm also asyphilix and demisexual, requiring a deep emotional connection before trying to pursue anything with someone. Hence having one LBR in high school and single for the last 16 years. Unfortunately, I am a dingbat, and even directing your face flirting can go over my head if the feelings simply aren't there for me or if I'm convinced my own feelings are not reciprocated. But that's a separate story. Anyway, towards the end of the year, Nathan confessed his love to me. He stopped me in the busy hallway, told me that I made his days so much better and how he looked forward to coming to school just to see me smile, and he wanted to provide for me after my bad LDR breakup. I was very awkward, thanked him for his honesty, and said I just wanted to be friends. He was bummed but seemed to take it okay, and I thought that was the end of it. Here's where my oblivious dumbbassery comes into play. Not long after, Nathan comes to me and tells me he's entered into the talent show. Nice. Good for him. I told him so. He told me he was going to sing. I said that was awesome, and I was excited for him. He said it was going to be a song he wrote himself. I told him that would be very brave and encouraged him. He asked me if I was okay with it. I was confused why he was asking my permission to sing his own song in a talent show. Like, yeah, why not? Go for it, man. I continued to hype him up for the next couple weeks, preparing for the show, never having heard it once, and when it was finally time, and the school was huddling into the gymnicafetasium, as we called it, I told my friends that it was super cool for Nathan to be in the talent show. I had gotten a little bit closer with him over that time just because I felt like we chilled out since he had confessed. He was less creepy and conversations flowed easier. My best friend looked at me weird and said, "You know the song he's singing is about you, right?" What? I felt so stupid. That's why he was asking my permission. He had already submitted for the talent show and planned on singing it under the hopes that we would be dating by that time. I had turned him down, and I guess he decided he couldn't pull out of the show. Brother. He was the last act, so I had to sit there in a room of 200+ teens and teachers sitting crisscross applesauce on the linoleum floor for like 2 hours waiting for this embarrassment to be done with. What's worse is that it was clearly still an attempt to shoot his shot as he named me before singing. Once again, it was a tiny school of 200 kids and I was the only one with my name. Everyone knows everyone. Now it's been well over a decade since this happened, so I don't remember any of the lyrics or if the song was even good. I remember a line about building a foundation together. He had the room in absolute tears. A girl he had dated for a day was sobbing uncontrollably while her bestie glared at me. He won the talent show and a teacher told him he had won all of their hearts. He left quickly, and I was swarmed by people demanding to know my answer. I was so embarrassed and overwhelmed that I called my mom to come pick me up, especially because we were supposed to go back to classes and I had math with him after that. I was not going to be able to pretend like everything was normal. My mom actually called the school and ripped them a new one, demanding to know why a boy who had been rejected prior had been allowed to do this very public attempt again under the permission and encouragement of the teachers. I had encouraged him too, but I was entirely unaware of the nature and intent. Should I have picked up on it? Yeah, probably. Because of that, Nathan ended up also winning prom king, and 3 charter schools including mine had come together to pay for our prom to be held at our state's Capitol building. Insane. I spent the majority of the prom avoiding him, but eventually he did find me and convinced me to dance with him for a few minutes. People started congratulating us on being a couple, and I wanted to die. Contact between us was non-existent after high school. After about 7 or 8 years I was reconnecting with people, and the shock of this act had dimmed. One day I was just curious to how the was doing and went to look him up. Couldn't find anything on Facebook, so I googled him. His real name is extremely unique, and I'm pretty sure the only one with that name on the planet. I've told all of this to properly pack the impact of me finding out recently that he is now a convicted pedophile that was caught and arrested under a mass FBI investigation raid where more than 100 men in my state were arrested. He had apparently posted on the dark web that he wanted to make an adult film. An agent pretending to be another predator offered to make one with him and include his 13-year-old niece. Nathan agreed to a time and place at a hotel, showed up, and was arrested on the spot. I was given a lot of crap by my stepsister and other school kids for turning him down, even after high school. I never questioned whether I should have dated him or not, so I'm glad I never even considered it, but goddamn, why me? I have this friend AA, and I am a girl 16F to be exact, and I also have this friend 16F also younger than me by a new months. Now what happened is that went her house once, and 2 times she has been to mine. Nothing wrong with that, but this second time, because we both act at the same small studio, she asked yesterday to sleep over, and I asked who said she can, but the problem is that my room has a lot expensive merchandise, and has a lot of other things that are pretty expensive, so I don't like people sleeping over. Now on to the current situation. So I told her we have to be asleep by 2 a.m. and she was like, why though? I told her I have baby cousin underneath my room and I seriously don't want baby to be woken up. My aunt, my dad's sister-in-law, and my uncle, my dad's brother, will be on my back about it the whole week he is here at home from work. Last night at around 1 a.m. she asked me to do yoga, which I tell her no to, and that I can't stretch because a few years ago I had injured my foot and ankle, and too much stretching is making injury returned. So she had okay, and shortly after that I went to sleep like a normal person. After me shortly she fell asleep too. Now it's currently 6:18 a.m. for me, and she is still asleep, but what woke me up is her snoring, and I can't handle it. It's not that I don't like her, I just hate having people sleeping over. My cousins are one, but she is a different case. Also, my older sister is home by April, she is away for work. So am I an asshole for thinking all this, or am I just an introvert who hates people that I have to sleep with in my own bed?